hello to all you monster lovers out there. At least lovers of monster miniatures. Miniature monsters? Whatever you want to call them. This is Doc Eon speaking to you on a Monday to ramble about miniatures. And starting off with the first finished stuff, we have these 4 Goblin Wolf Riders from Game Zone Miniatures. They're pretty big for goblins, like small orcs. And I like the wolves, generally speaking. Some of them have the issue, well, really only one has the issue that only one foot is in the ground, so it's kind of precariously balanced. If it gets hit too much, it might break off. But the others are solidly planted, and I like the sculpts of the wolves. The goblins have an issue. I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago, I forget when I finished the demons and dark elves from the same company, that I'm not a fan of the sculpting, because the sculpting is very detailed, but the detail is sometimes pretty unclear as to what it actually is. Case in point, I mean, these are various skulls adorning the staff, but then there's stuff around them. It's unclear if it's chains, hair, headpieces, entrails, whatever. And so I just kind of painted it as a sort of indistinct whatever. And this is a recurring theme with this company. They add a lot of detail, and it's not entirely clear what the detail is supposed to be always. But, you know, props for the effort. And, well, they're done. I finished them. Not much else to say. The rest of this finished stuff this week are 2 miniatures from Reaper and 1 from, I forget which company, some smaller company. Let's start with this one. This is the Mel the Terrain Tutor Mini, with his funny cap, his hoodie, and blue jeans, and holding a couple of books with miniature painting tips, I suppose. Fun figure. Then we have the Reaper. This is a metal mini of, well, some sort of insect-like creature. Maybe a very skinny Umber Hulk, or a really unusual-looking Hokar. No, it's called a. I forget what the name of it was, but fun looking. Like I said, that was metal. This is Bones. This is the new Bones USA material, the set The Elven Mage. And I think you can see that it has some nice detail, almost as crisp as metal. It doesn't catch the paint exactly always as nicely as metal. For example, the runes on the sword are a little slightly fuzzy compared to what a pewter cast would be. But overall, really good for the price. It's outstanding, and I can heartily recommend it, this material. And yeah. So 7 miniatures completed this week, which is okay. Not great, but okay. Well, I had hoped I might get the cat people done as well, but I got lazy and watched a bunch of television instead. So, yeah. You need to recharge sometimes. You can't just paint all the time. But anyway, there's some paint on these. There's some metallic work, and there's like just a base coat on the fur. This yellowish brown is just kind of, like I said, a kind of a base. I might want to go lighter or darker, or lighter on some of these and darker on some others. We'll work at it. And in the background, we see the next batch of stuff, which are the kid miniatures from Midlam, which have been primed and, well, I base coated the bases and then just simply given a very quick wash to the rest of them to bring out the detail and to sort of dark line. Because Midlam miniatures have very, very good definition. That's one of the reasons I like them. They have very clear separation between different areas. So if you just give it a dark wash, a very, very thin paint wash in this case, everything pops out. You can see what's what very clearly. And I really enjoy that in a sculpt. So, yeah. Lots of stuff to work on. Well, looky here. We have some dinosaurs. A couple of Triceratops. So, you can tell that the one to the right is the metal one because they could not do these big frills. Sculpting that in metal would be much more difficult. It doesn't really matter if I point it out now because nobody can get this kit anyway, but this metal kit was a bear to put together. The fit was horrible. It required tons and tons of gap filling. And it doesn't hold the paint very well. Oh, see, it's rubbing off here on the horn. Need to fix that. But anyway, hopefully I've disguised it. I decided, well, what this is primer plus one base coat through the airbrush. And I went with a darker brown on one and a lighter brown on the other because I thought, let's paint them slightly different color schemes. I haven't really settled on what those will be yet, but, you know, something. Yeah, and again, the metal one I put on, it's on a wood base, and this one didn't have an integral base like the other dinosaurs, so this is a Reaper plastic base. Turns out it's the exact same size as this wooden base. Oh well, that's nice. Yeah, so let's see what I can make of these. So this week we have another mail call. This was a kind of spur of the moment purchase. See, I found a place in Europe that carries Dark Sword miniatures, and there were a few that I really wanted, and they were low on stock. They only had one copy each of many of them. And mostly, what I wanted to do was to complete my collection of the Muses. So we have Urania, Polyhymnia, and Terpsichore. I have the other 6 Muses from an old Kickstarter that I backed for Darkstar Miniatures. But I'm not going to paint these right away. I'm adding them to the other 6, and I'll do a project at some point, maybe this summer, when I have more time, and paint all the Muses. And the rest of these are holiday figures. We have Mrs. Claus and Schnauzers, which is a 2009 holiday tribute. So these are Christmas minis, and we have 2 sets. They're called The Witch with Minion, Halloween 2013, and Witch with Black Cat, Halloween, what's it say, 2009. So we have Halloween and Christmas themed minis, and this is good because I was running out of Halloween themed minis. I painted I think I painted almost all, at least, of the Halloween minis I had on stock last year. So I need to refill. Yeah, but all these are getting put away into various boxes for future projects, as I mentioned. So, what then is my new project for this week? What am I going to start painting? Well, join me after the cut. So I think it's about time I introduce you to my big painting project. Spring 21 in Dakian's house will be the Lost World. And the centerpiece here is the Lost Valley expansion from Bones 4. And this is, as a matter of fact, the last of the Bones 4 Kickstarter that I have to paint. And so part of this is my ambition to finish Bones 4 before Bones 5 arrives sometime this summer. I mean, it's technically supposed to arrive in April, but they've already advertised there might be delays because of production and shipping in China. So I'm looking at, you know, May, maybe June. But still, we have some plastic to get through. Now, it's not... There's several really big minis, like this walking mammoth and this big hut. So it's not, the numbers are not huge. And also, I've actually painted some of it before. You see these, there were 3 stone giants and 1 cave bear pet for the stone giants. And those I painted sometime last year, if I recall correctly. But, so what's left is a bunch of dinosaurs and cave people and somewhat other Lost World-esque figures. But here's the thing. This is not the only thing in this theme I have to paint. If we pan over here, you can see a little small pile of stuff from various manufacturers. Some of it Reaper metal stuff. Some of it is resin from a company called Fenril. We even have 1 bombshell miniature here, which I feel this is a sort of cave woman. And they're all in this theme of cave people and dinosaurs. And why do I have these? Well, I've had this on the back burner for a long time, actually. The idea that at some time I want to run a role-playing game campaign in the kind of Lost World setting. And I've been looking at, like, the Isle of Dread, the old D&D module. And if some lights start going off in your head right now, congratulations. Yes. Some of the minis I've been painting recently have, in fact, been a part of this project, a sort of stealth part of it. Because apart from cave people and dinosaurs, what does the Isle of Dread have? Well, it has a lot of other stuff. It has lizard people. It has cat people. Now you're starting to get it. So, yeah. I'm planning on focusing on these guys and these guys until they're done. And I'm hoping... I'm thinking of alternating, so each week I'll pick out a few plastic figures and a few metal figures. I think I have more plastic in total than I have metal, so that's not... we'll have to think about the proportions of it, but a little bit. But anyway, yeah, and again, hopefully have them all done before the summer. And what this means is if other stuff arrives, it might get shoved to the side for the time being, unless it's relevant to this project, because I'm thinking there's still a few more minis I want to get from Reaper that belong in this project. So when I place my monthly orders, like, well, the one I've already placed for February, for example, contains some more minis that fit this theme. And of course they'll just get integrated into it. But anyway, that is the big picture for the near future. So out of that big collection, I've picked out a few to start with. And from the Kickstarter, from Bones, Lost Vale expansion, I picked out a group of characters, tribespeople, called the People of the Dawnlands. So these are just primitive humans. There's 4 of them. One sort of shaman, a child, and a couple of armed tribesmen. And I think this goes with that. This is their fertility idol. You know, from it. You recognize this sculpture, of course. It's archaeologically been found. It's a copy of archaeological finds that are all very small, though. But this one they've made as a big statue, and there's various offerings of, well, I suppose fruit. And from the metal stuff, I'm going with some small dinos. So we have these two Reaper kits, with one with two Velociraptors and one with simply a Raptor with a sort of different look to it. And then from Hassle-Free Minis, we have Dinosaur number 1 and Dinosaur number 2. So these are smaller. Well, they're a little bit bigger than the Raptors, but they're not really huge, and they have slightly different styles. This one has a kind of head frill thing, and this one doesn't. But yeah, tribes, people, and dinos. This, I think, will do nicely in prep for next week. Maybe, let's toss in this one as well. I had it close to hand. This is a snake from the Bones Lost Valley expansion, and this is the only miniature from this expansion that I've painted before. I've painted this in metal. This is a Bones conversion of a metal model, metal sculpt. Or, well, it's the same sculpt, but they've cast it in metal before. Everything else in the Lost Valley expansion is original sculpts, as far as I can tell. But yeah, let's just do this one as well. So that's 11 minis. Should tide me over. And yeah, both humans and beasts. That's a good variety. But that means we've reached the conclusion of this week's episode. So, give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so before, share the video if you think somebody else might like it, and join me in a week from today. Same day of the week, same channel, same ducking out. And as always, it's now time to sign off.